Hello, I am Parker Gray. And I'm Mason Larson, and today we'll be taking a look at ASU football. We'll be looking at their numbers from last year and taking a look at next year and what to expect.
All right, so first I want to mention that last year ASU went 7-5 in the regular season, and they dropped a loss in their last game to Fresno State in the Las Vegas Bowl. Like usual in recent years, they had a really good home record of 5-1. However, they went 2-4 on the road, and luckily this season it seems that most of their away games are easier, weaker opponents, excluding Michigan State. That should be tough. And their home games are the ones that they'll need the most home field advantage. So first, let's take a look at Kent State. They are an FBS team. I guess you could call them a cupcake team. They went 3-10 last year, and we're playing them at home. So Mason, in your opinion, do you think that this should be a challenge at all for the team?
Absolutely not. I mean, last season, ASU's first game, they, I believe, won, was it 56-7? Or
I think it was 49. Yeah,
49-7. I'm expecting something very similar in this game. It's going to be, as you said, a cupcake game. Going to be very simple and very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Expecting the fans to leave at halftime. It's going to be one of those games.
I hope so.
Yeah, and taking it into the next game, we're actually playing an FCS team. We're going to be hosting again Sacramento State. They went 2-9.
Mm-hmm.
They had a canceled game, so that's why they didn't get their 12th game of the season. But once again, cupcake game.
Mm-hmm.
People could leave at the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is something you don't even need to show up for. It's not going to be a problem at all.
Mm-hmm.
But our third game, this is when we go away, and this is when things started to trickle down for ASU last year. I mean, we lost the majority of our away games. In Michigan State, we beat them last year. I mean, you had some good points about the climate, so you want to go ahead and talk about that being an away game?
So also in recent history with away games and poor performances, ASU has not performed well in the cold as well. Also, this game will be in September, so it won't be winter cold. But still, it's Michigan. It's a lower temperature. I remember it was 2014. ASU played Oregon State team, who we should have beat handily. We beat Notre Dame the game before. It was a huge win, and we went there, and it was really cold. It was in the 20s, 30s, and we dropped that loss. And it threw off a season that was otherwise going really well and above expectations. So hopefully this game they can get past the temperature and the climate and focus on the game at hand and perform well, because Michigan State is a good team, but they can either perform really well depending on if they want to get some revenge on us last year when we took away their hopes of a strong season, or they can come out flat and hopefully we can come away with a win. So next after that, let's talk about Colorado. They were kind of interesting last season. For the first 5 games of the season, they went 5-0. They beat Nebraska at Nebraska, and at the time that was a huge win. But they started 5-0. They had a really strong team, and their MVP was definitely Laviska Shenault, the wide receiver. We played them at Colorado. We lost 28-21. It was a close game, but we just couldn't pull it out. So, Mason, what do you think about this year's game with it being here at ASU?
I think that's the key. I think that might be the reason we win this game, is that it is at ASU. As you said earlier, that we did have a home record of 5-1. The only loss we had was to Stanford. And Colorado, as you said, if we can limit that receiver, honestly, our defense just needs to step up. Mm-hmm. If our defense steps up, I don't see how we can lose. Sure, we don't have Manny, could be a good thing, and we don't have N'Keal Harry. If we don't have him anymore, we also have Eno, and
we have a strong wide receiver core. Lots of them returning.
The fact that it's at home is the reason we win. It could be another 28-21 situation, but with us with the 28.
Yeah, I think a big part of that game is making sure that we can lock down Shenault. Last year in the 28-21 loss, he actually scored all 4 touchdowns. So limiting him would be a huge part of a victory there. So next we have Cal, who we didn't play last year. This year they went 7-5 and lost their bowl game and ended 7-6. So what do you think about this game, Mason?
I think this one is toss-up. Good team coming off of a good year. I think they could be a contender for the top of the North. Yeah, Washington State, they're up there. Stanford, inconsistent within recent years, but Cal's knocking on the door. But Cal could be a tough game, especially that it's an away. They played pretty well. I don't know. I don't see. We could do it. Honestly, it depends. I think the week before, if we beat Colorado, I think that will help us. And speaking of teams that we didn't play last year, Washington State. Did anybody expect them to go 11-2? I don't think anybody expected that. Yeah, that one's gonna be tough. We are hosting them though, but also Gardner Minshew, their quarterback, is no longer there.
And he was a huge part of their success. I think he led the nation in passing yards. He kind of came out of nowhere. It was his senior year, his first year starting.
Right, because Luke Falk played all 4 years, maybe even 5, and he's gone.
Exactly. And so, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what to expect from them next year, but it seems that they always find some quarterback, like a diamond in the rough, out of nowhere who can, obviously with the passing scheme they have there, most quarterbacks will end up having tons of passing yards, but it depends on pretty much what they're able to do with their new quarterback. I'm not sure of who it will be, but if he's able to perform in a manner that is similar to the past quarterbacks of Washington State, I think it could be a very difficult game for ASU. So next up, we have Utah, which we did play last year, and we were able to upset them at home. But this year, it'll be away, and they are very strong at home. So what do you think about this, Mason?
Yeah, as you said, they were strong at home. They went 5-1 with a total record of 9-5. They ended up making it to the Pac-12 championship game. They did lose that, and they lost their bowl game to Northwestern. They're coming off 2 losses in a row. If we can ride high, beating Cal and Washington State in a row, I don't see how we lose to Utah, even though it's away. They are good at home, but the next game, UCLA, are you kidding me? They suck. They're terrible. You know me, kind of weird thing, but I'm a USC fan, and I hate UCLA, and so this is going to be a win for me. I don't see how UCLA beats us, even with Chip Kelly.
Yeah. I have to agree with that. There's lots of hype around them this offseason, and I'm not really sure why. They don't have an amazing recruiting class. They don't really have much to show for last year. They went 3-9. I understand Chip Kelly can do. He's an amazing coach when he has the talent, but I'm not sure that this year is for them yet. Maybe give it 2 more years, and I think they could actually start to form something there. So after UCLA, we have USC, and that was an interesting game last year.
Yeah, we're gonna speed through that one because that one was rough.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected us to win that, coming off a loss against Stanford at home. And like we said, the away record was horrible last year, but we were able to come away with a win in that one. And that really turned the tide for the team. That was important for them.
Yeah, the game was mildly upsetting. I think honestly, USC comes out on top of this one and just completely screws over ASU, and USC makes the Pac-12 championship. It's gonna happen.
I would not be surprised,
and I would be totally okay with that.
They definitely are gonna be stronger this next year with JT Daniels.
Yeah.
All right. Next up.
Yeah, Oregon State. That game, blowout.
It should be a blowout. It could be.
It's going to be cold. It's going to be November.
Exactly. It's going to be at Oregon State, so that'll be different. We just have to hope that the team doesn't overlook it, depending on what our record is like at that point. Let's say we're going in 8-1.
Let's go with that.
And we're just looking. This is a perfect example. We're looking forward to Oregon, which is a huge game next year, and we just dropped this game. It's a cliche trap game. Given that we can come into this prepared, we should beat them. I think that their only positive is their running back, Jamar Jefferson. He had nearly 300 rushing yards against us last year, but also their rush defense was terrible last year.
Eno went off for 320 something. So moving into Oregon, we did lose to them last year. They had a solid 9-4 record, but we're hosting them this year, and they went 2-3 on the road. So that one gonna be a toss-up. Honestly, the fact that it's home, and if we have a chance for the championship, the students and the fans will know we have a chance for the championship. So people are gonna show out,
and they're gonna step up,
and we're gonna step up, and we're gonna win that game.
They're only getting better than they were last year, and they still have Justin Herbert. He's a senior this year. He could have left for the draft, the NFL draft, and possibly been a top 10 pick, but he's staying another year with this pretty stacked team. So we'll have to see how that turns out. It'll definitely be a hard game. And then lastly, we're finishing out the year with U of A, and all I have to say is that we will win.
Yeah, it's U of A. They suck. We beat them last year. Incredible game.
Yeah, it was a great game. I was lucky to be there.
The fact that we beat them, if they would have won, they would have gotten a bowl game. And so not only did we win the cup, but we knocked them out of that.
Exactly.
And we're hosting them. They're coming to us. So I'm not expecting anything special from the Wildcat side. I think Sun Devils will show up, and we're going to kick them out.
I would say that for the season, I would predict we go anywhere from 7-5 to 10-2. anywhere in that range. I don't see us going below 7-5.
I agree. I think we end up getting another bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Herm has another good year, and honestly, I think we're going to start to see what he has for the Sun Devil program. Yeah, well, thanks for tuning in, guys. My name is Mason Larson.
I'm Parker Gray, and this was the discussion about ASU's